All right. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, all right. Uh-huh. This is a video game. It is a video game. It's Terraria. I had planned to do something preemptively today, and then I didn't end up going to sleep, and I took maybe a 6-hour nap and woke up at midnight, and that's a bad sleeping pattern, but psychologically, mentally, it's needed. I need like actual REM sleep, you know? I've been having really bad dreams. Really bad dreams. And it's one of those things, like, when you have a bad dream, you you never really think like, okay, this might come true because it's so outlandish. Most of the time, you'll be falling or hit the ground. in a lot of ways, it's helpful just to think about it. 1 second here. Helpful to think about it. Premonition style dreams in a lot of ways. So, whenever I have a bad dream, I always end up just like sustaining a lot of mental turmoil from it. I'll sit for a moment and contemplate it. I'll sit and I'll really be one of those people that not only sits there just like in a sad moment, okay, like why did I deserve this? You know, but I'll sit there and contemplate what was the meaning of it? Why am I feeling this way? But I sleep with my laptop camera on, so I don't know. Sometimes I just blame the laptop. If only the laptop would function correctly and not be one of those things, right? Because I've gone through so much. Just in any frame of reference, I've gone through way too much trauma, way too many things for there to be someone, excuse me, just sitting there behind the laptop watching me 24/7. But somehow I know that's the truth, you know? Somehow I know there's someone there, and that might be the same reason why you can feel someone staring at you from across the room, peering over your shoulder and making eye contact with someone who is looking at you, you know? That's a psychological premise. I know it exists. Can't tell me otherwise. But we're going through way too much for that to be happening consistently. So I've been battling with that. And then you have to find a new place to live. But for now, I kind of just want to sit and play Terraria. I love this game so much. I want to sit. I want to play the Terraria game. And yeah, just have a real nice fun time. What do you think? What do you think about it? Uh-huh. There's no one talking to me at all. Uh-huh. Yep, I know. Yep. But I do have some other things to talk about. So, pertaining to dreams, though, sometimes I'll keep a dream journal. I have my own dream journal. I use it as a planner too. Sometimes I put like helpful interviews, things I have planned, you know, stuff like that. Like if I have something important coming up, it'll end up in the dream journal, just because I like to write things down. But when I was much younger, they used to force the planner on you. You know? I was never a planner person. And now, as I get older, it's a bit different. It's a bit different. I actually appreciate the planner. Excuse me. I appreciate a planner, I'm gonna be honest with you. And it's like one of those things where you grow into liking a certain habit because it's more beneficial in that way. What is this? Okay. But I don't know if you understand that, like, you learn healthy habits through finding solutions to issues. And that being said, I was never a planner person, so staying organized was always just something mentally to keep in the back of your mind. Like, I hate uncleanliness. You know what I mean? I hate when someone's dirty, or like, and that is like a huge insult. If you call someone dirty, you know, I would take offense to that so very quickly. But if someone's disorganized, like not dirty but disorganized, I like it. You know, like both my hands clench up like Arthur walking down the road. Like, why are you like that? Come on, organize it, right? And maybe that's just me being a little obsessive compulsive about it. But when I see something that's a crooked, I need to straighten it. And be that as it may, I have a story about that. So there is like two major, well, there are more than two major museums in the state that I live in, but one of them is this place that is completely free on weekends. I believe it's like certain time periods, so I go there when it's completely free. And so I'm walking around this art museum, and it's kind of a history museum too, where there are different aspects of cultural art. It's multicultural. It's nice. It's like a 4-story building. And it overlooks the city right next to the airport. Not right next to it, but down the road from it. And I don't need a GPS to get around. But there's art from different countries. There's, you know, a lot of things. This thunderstorm is making the computer. What is going on here? I think it's like the rain, the thunderstorm thing. 1 second. But anyways, it has a lot of art in it, historically. Like artists from the state, artists from all around the world, but they have an exhibit where it's like monthly, or they do certain things like at certain times where they have certain artists. Gosh darn it. There's certain things at certain times. That's what I'm trying to say. The weather changed and the frame rate dropped. Sorry. But anyways, so I'm walking around the art museum, and based on the premise of what I just said, you can kind of imagine if I'm walking around like, and this is very valuable art, you know, it's trapped behind glass, there are statues, there's a whole bunch of stuff there, right? And I'm upstairs, and I had been there before, but it's like one of my go-to spots if I really don't have anything to do, because there's a record store down the road too. There's like a record store. There's also like a bit down the road there's a place to play pinball. But at the record store you can get like stickers and records and old CDs and stuff. So it's one of those things that I like to do, because it's a day out, right? It's a day in the city. It's in Minneapolis. I don't need a GPS. So, but I'll start the day like a coffee and just like walking around the museum. And I'm in the 3rd level of the museum, past the cultural historical art, and they have this art exhibit with a bunch of furniture around. It's because furniture is art too, it's design. But they have furniture, and I'm walking around the art museum, and this chair, right? There's like a few chairs set up in a kind of a triangle shape, you know, that they face each other, but it's on a stage, right? So I'm like thinking, okay, well, why, you know, like in my brain, I didn't think, you know, I didn't think, well, what's going on here? This thing is like, I want this thing, but it is a pressure plate. Pressure trap. Okay. But anyways, I'm in the museum, I'm walking around, I'm on the 3rd level, I need to sit down because I'm tired. I want to drink my coffee. I want, you know, scroll through Twitter. I'm a little, you know, I get overstimulated. I have a low social battery, and I was there alone. Usually I take a date or something, so I was getting kind of sad. Like, oh, I don't, you know, I didn't take a date here this time, and then I started to remember like all the other times I'd went there with other people just for like a monthly exhibit or something. But these chairs are all set out on a stage, so I walk up onto the stage, right? And I'm thinking, well, this is a weird place to sit. It's in full center view of everything and going on here, right? So I sit down on the chair, and oh, what? It's a boss. I sit down on the chair, right? And like I sit there for around 5 or 6 minutes, and I'm sitting a text message. I don't know, like just feeling like sometimes I'll just tweet. I'll tweet random things. Like the other day I tweeted Aguila en la noche. And I think that's kind of funny because I was just repeating the same sentence over and over again. Aguila en la noche. Aguila en la noche. Puede hacer más. Aguila en la noche. It was just like a little Spanish thing I was doing. So I tweeted it. I was thinking, oh, this is gonna be a banger tweet. But that's what I do. I mean, I'll sit there for a minute and, you know, have something creative to say. I'll be on my phone just for a sec. And it's okay, right? But I'm sitting on this stage, and this is a weird place to sit. I can see everyone walking around. Why is it on the stage? And 10 minutes go by, and then the security at the art museum come out of the woodwork on me. Like 3 people, and this was very embarrassing, to be honest with you. Like I just looked like a complete fool, to be honest. But the security came out of the woodwork, and it was like 3 guys, and it's a nice museum, so they were like in suits. They were like, sir, and I have my headphones in, so I didn't hear them at first. I was looking down at my phone. I was looking down at my phone, thinking about banger tweet. Okay, and I love art, so I'm very respectful of art, and I love art. So it isn't one of those things that like I'm like, oh, F this museum, right? But the security comes out of the woodwork on me, and they're like, sir, you're sitting, sir. And this is very embarrassing. Sir, you're sitting on the art exhibit. And I'm looking around. I take my headphone out. What do you mean? What do you mean? I mean, this is... What do you mean? I'm trying to compensate for it. Like, oh, I'm some uncultured prick or something. What do you mean I'm sitting on it? What's going on here? Right? Like, I don't understand art at all. Even though, I mean, I have a... That's my minor in college, is art history and teaching. They're like, sir, you're sitting on the art exhibit. And I'm like, oh my god, sorry. Oh my god, sorry. And they start to explain to me, yeah, no one has ever sat in these chairs before. And I started to feel really bad because they began to explain to me these chairs were made with specific design premises not to be sat in, and you could have damaged them. But here's the thing. Okay, I understand the premise of art, but it seemed highly important that the guy said, yeah, no one has ever sat in these chairs before. But but here's the thing. It's so counterintuitive. Who makes a chair that you don't sit in? I know I'm messed up a little bit for thinking that. Do you get it? Right? Who makes it? That's like, I'm gonna bake a cake and not eat it, right? It's not just a display cake or anything like that, but still, it just made me kind of mad because made me kind of upset. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I felt really bad. They were like, yeah, you could have damaged this and the other. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. But, you know, if that were to happen to say a woman, if that same situation happened to a woman, it's kind of cute and a little campy, you know? Oh, like you didn't understand art. But since I was a man, they took it as like I was doing something just completely wrong, and I had to continue to apologize about it. And I really like going to that museum, so. But just that misunderstanding, it made me look so stupid. And that's why, you know what? That misunderstanding made me feel and look very stupid. But arguably, that is the reason why I value communication so much. Being perceived the correct way. Because most of life's turmoils, most of life's problems, actually are just as a result of miscommunication. Actually. And if you think about it, people get violent, people, you know, have poor response systems. They're not able to even communicate properly sometimes. In some ways, people are unable to communicate their emotions or feelings properly. Right? Oh. I keep stepping on traps. But that is where most of life's issues come from. That and, I mean, everything that I'm dealing with. But I think about that sometimes because it's important to just, I don't know, be able to talk. That's kind of why, kind of the same reason why I do this, right? Because I don't ever want to be perceived as just, you know, and I'm normally very quiet. I'm a quiet person. I don't... Sorry, I'm just falling through the floor. Oh, chest. Kinda cool. I'm normally someone who doesn't speak very often. And to be honest with you, I prefer it that way. Just because... Not because it's like I'm cool and mysterious or something, but just directly related to just the way I am. But I value communication a lot. So, I value people who are hardworking, communication, communicatory skills, social skills. You know, and those are good. Those are just basic, good things to like about people. You know, they're good precursors to interaction in life. If you don't have good judge of character, most likely it's going to be associated with those kind of things. Oh, I got a bird. Bird statue. Bird. But yeah, so in life's turmoils and the eventfulness of it, it's good to just take a moment. And that's what this is. So, in that basic premise, I did sit today and get kind of upset about it. There are things that a person is unable to control. You know, I'm unable to control circumstances regarding the system, regarding the way that I am. Especially when it's directly related to money. So, I can be as hardworking as I am. And I am. Oh my gosh. I just lost so much money from that. Damn it. That's fine. But when it's directly related to money, that's separate from Terraria. So I'm sitting here playing Terraria. But in real life, you know, there's more to life than just money. There's more to life than you know, description of fitting in, you know, trying to be everything under the sun, you know, for everyone else instead of yourself. There's more to life than that, right? Still, though, in a lot of ways, you know, falling short, especially within comparative sense, can leave you feeling a little bit sadder than usual. And to be honest with you, you know, depression statistics in account for that observation is that a lot of people are depressed. A lot of people do have a lot of issues. And to be honest with you, it's managing that and the systemic premise that kind of sets people apart. So I sat today and just thought about it. I don't raise my voice. I don't get angry very easily. I'm a very understanding person, but I just sat there and I was like, why, God? Why, God? Come on. Right? Come on, dude. And maybe that was the wrong thing to say. maybe it's wrong, you know, but I mean, even from that standpoint, though, even from that, there is accounting for other things, right? I'm an insanely good person. I will be honest with you. I've never done anything wrong in my life. This thing is cool as heck. Oh, I'm keeping that for sure. What does this one do? I gotta know. That is unbelievable. That is flippin' sweet. This is the new weapon. We should magic cube it. Magic cubism. But yeah, I mean, I have never done anything wrong in my life. I've never hurt anybody. I've never done anything out of deliberate, jealousy, hatred. I've never had a hateful bone in my body. But still, I mean, I have to go through life's turmoils. Okay, that's like an alt. It's kind of cool. Life's turmoils and trying to account for that kind of thing. It doesn't end up reflecting innately how people are. Because some people have to go through things that they shouldn't, even if they're a good person. Some people have gone through things that they should not have, even being a perfect person, a good person. And that is part of life's cruelty. But the way that I see it at this point is that everything out of my control, if I cannot control it, I have no say. I have no say. Like here's the thing. I have no say if, say and here's just an example. If a business hires me, right? I have no say in anyone else's life but my own. I have no say in anyone's emotions, their feelings. I can't go to the store and tell you what to buy, right? Like, say if we're at the department convenience store, okay? Just to bring this up again, you motherfucker. Okay. But I can't tell you what to buy, that's your money, right? In the same way, I can't tell anyone else what to do, how to feel, in any way, shape, or form. With that being said, sometimes people do take the illicit formatting of that kind of statement, and they abuse it in some way. You can't tell me what to do, so that means I can do whatever I want to, right? That is not the way that it is, either. Someone doesn't observe your boundaries, or they do something just to do it. I hate that kind of thing. Some people test limits as well. They limit tests with boundaries and stuff. I'm more respectful than experimental. I prefer to be much more respectful than to just see how close to the line that you can get before you cross it. But with that being said, if it's out of my control, I just will not pay it any mind anymore. I can't do that anymore. I don't want to feel limited, or that something is hurting me in any way. So I won't be that way anymore. Because if you end up caring too much about certain things, you just, I don't know. And then you see the response system of other people who live in the world, right? And arguably they have, like, I don't know many people that don't have a better life than me. My life is not as good as you think. It sucks, actually. I hate my life. I really do. But, I don't know, I have certain things. I have certain things. And you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But certain things. I'm just gonna press a little all. Kinda like this. This is a very helpful thing for me. To sit in and just be able to do this kind of thing. It's helpful. I like to talk. Right? I'm a talker, jokester, right? No, I'm not a jokester. Every time someone says that, every time someone says, "Oh my god, you're so funny," oh my god, right? I always think like, oh, okay, well, are you laughing with me, or are you laughing at me? You know? And that's kind of an innate question with that kind of thing too. Then you just think in social circumstance. What woman? Okay, because men, and what I'll tell you about it is that I'm a man. Alright, so I'm gonna tell you my value systems on it. I can't speak for anybody else but myself, so just, you know, take that into account when you're listening to me about this. But what men, like, guys will validate themselves based off of desirability, traits that a woman or the opposite gender or who they're interested in, even if you're like LGBTQ, you know, even if you're a dude and you're LGBTQ, you're still gonna do some certain things to validate yourself in the eyes of someone, or in the eyes of, you know, the perception of what you just desire, or who you desire. Meaning for me, because, you know, yeah, I'm gonna do things, I'm gonna be a certain way for the ideal traits and mechanisms that, I don't know, essentially, they're not morally defining, and of course there's character differences, but there are certain traits and aspects of things that validate yourself against who you'd like to be and who you like to be around. And to be honest with you, the best advice is that you are who you're around as well. You are most likely going to identify more with a group of people or sentiment in groupthink rather than as an individual sometimes. More often than not, especially if, say, you know, you're around people a lot. That's where your inside jokes come from. That's where it's like, you know, oh, me and my friend, we have this thing we like to say, and it's kind of funny, and you will never know. You'll never know because we're better friends than you. we're better friends, and you'll never be as good of a friend. You know, I'm number one. No, no, I'm number one friend. No, put that down. Put it down. I'm number one friend. 1 second here. There's no one in the background. I'm just catching my breath. But yeah, I mean, that's where inside jokes come from. So you have like a connection with someone, you build something, and you sort of like share certain things. Maybe you share property, even. I don't even know. Right? You can have a good friend and business partner. Like for the longest time, and I'm old now, so like my dad, he owns a small business, and at a certain point in life, I I'm one of those people that inherit that business too. So my dad, he's a good friend of mine. He's arguably more of my friend, but I also inherit his business, so he's like my business partner, that kind of thing. You can have, I mean, it doesn't have to be your family, but you can have good friends that, you know, you share investments with, good friends that are different if you trust them enough. That's what I'm saying. And they communicate well enough. Don't just go, don't put all your eggs in one basket over someone and then end up just getting completely scammed or betrayed, especially regarding money. And a lot of people like to leave out money with friends too. They never bring it up. You know, if you can't go out to dinner, then just don't go out to dinner. You know? Don't feel obligated to be that person that's, if I don't go out to dinner, they're gonna think I'm poor. If I don't go out to dinner, you know, start having panic attack over it. No, just be forward and don't try to define yourself based on those standards, because it's not everything to be validated. But people's opinions end up really mattering more over time when you connect with them. And that's healthy advice. You know, it's gonna matter more if you spent a lot of time. It'll arguably matter more, especially if you care for the person's opinion too. But that being said, you can have good friends everywhere, dude. And it's impossible. And when I say this, it's impossible to find good people nowadays. So I don't really have a lot of friends, but when you take on that role in social validation, and back to my initial point, you take on that role in social validation, I sat there for a minute and I said this a year ago, I'll say it now, and it's kind of the most horrible thing that I realized, because it's just one of those things, like I shouldn't have to go through what I'm going through, but in that aspect, a man is going to do things in the eyes of say like a woman, in the eyes of say potential mate, right? They're going to do things in that aspect to be desirable. But there's not a woman on earth in the 21st century that wants to be with a homeless man. And you know, even statistically, and I'm making a point about this, I'm not demeaning myself. Listen, I'm very smart. I read a lot. I'm just from lower income. I've never had a lot. So I'm not, victimizing myself in any way, but it's like, it's just one of those things to me. Because then you think, you know, there are so many other people with more, and being at that lower state of living in a comparative sense is, you know, most likely the person that you want to be with is going to take someone with more every time, right? They're, you know what I mean? They're gonna take someone with more every time. Even with a degree, even with, I'm hardworking, I have 2 jobs. Even with a degree, 2 jobs, and everything else, there isn't a woman on earth that wants to be with a homeless man. I'm gonna be honest. So I sat there for a minute just thinking about that too. And it's a cruel reality, and I shouldn't have to go through what I go through, but I've never really had a lot. And it's impossible to build savings. What is this? What is this thing? Oh, I kinda liked it. Would I kill it? Back to what I was saying. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I got distracted. Distracto mode. Distracto mode. But I mean, you can kind of understand that. So I sat there thinking about it, and in solemn silence, I just, say, wow. Wow. Life's so crazy, man. Life's so crazy, oh my god. And then, you think that, then you see those people that are just so stupid, right? And I'm someone who values intelligence, so I'm sorry for just bringing this up. But you see people like who very obviously lower standardized test scores, like lower. I just would like to give an IQ test. Some people can't do basic math, but still, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they say some pretty rude things about the whole thing. They start to view privilege as a mind state to hold over other people in some way. Because you have a lot, you think you can say those things or act that way. That was a nice save. Oh, died there. But because you have a lot, as if money defines that kind of thing, As if money is a definition of human character. But it isn't. There are stupid rich people, everywhere. God damn it. Gosh darn it. I mean, it's not necessarily the be-all end-all, right? But someone And it's statistically proven. I'm not trying to be misogynist or anything. You know, get your bag, sis. For sure. Don't be with me. Get your bag, sis. I just have to be honest. But it's statistically proven, you know, a lot of the desirable traits that a woman looks for have to do with resources, they have to do with traits that are reliable, and I'm hardworking. Okay, there isn't a woman alive that wants to be with a homeless man. Okay, so I don't know. I was kind of upset by it. But then you think I've been homeless for 3 years. So in that 3-year time period, there is nobody, right? Nobody to help me, no support system, nothing. I haven't gotten a hug. I haven't gotten a hug in. Sorry, I was acting there. It sounded a little sad. I haven't gotten a hug in 6 years. Like, and I'm not like oh, this where my hug at, ass dude. Oh, come over here. Where my hug at? No, dude, no. No, dude. That means that I have, yeah, you know, and maybe it's a little personal, but just to break it down in on the commentary level, I haven't, you know, in that long time, 6 years, I haven't been with anyone at all, even physically. And it's a result of even social circumstance. Because I won't go out. I will not go out if I can't pay for dinner. Like, I'm not going Dutch on the bill. If I ask someone out on a date, you know, and this is one of the main reasons why. But if I ask someone out on a date, I'm not going Dutch on it. I thought someone was taking a picture behind me. No, it's just a lightning storm. It scared me. I just got so scared. Someone was taking flash photography behind me. No, it's just thunder and lightning and God. It's just God behind me, just scared the hell out of me. I'm serious. I feel unsafe. I'm feeling really unsafe right now. You don't... Like, I don't have space to say that I feel unsafe. You know? Because I don't have anything. I don't even have the basic 3 prerequisites for Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Which is food, water, shelter. You know, and then you move up the pyramid, and it's social validation, it's communication, it's relationships, it's love, it's comfort, it's compassion, you know. And I was talking about this earlier, especially because people go through so much, and I don't forget a single thing that anyone ever says to me. I don't forget Not one freaking thing. If someone says something out of pocket to me, I'm gonna... I know. I won't forget. I can't believe you said this 3 weeks ago. Okay. Can't believe you had the audacity to say this to me 3 weeks ago. How dare you? Right? How dare you? But, you know, it's like one of those things. It's just one of those things. And I'm exploring now. Just give me a second. God damn it. I don't forget a single thing. So when... Oh, this thing is like really going after me. When someone says something out of pocket, and here's the way that I am even with people, right? Why did I just jump into the lava pit? Is there something wrong with me? Am I stupid? Straight into the lava, that was messed up. But here's the thing, here's the way that I am with people, right? Is that if I hear something that I don't like, right? Something out of pocket, the wrong take to have something, what if it, you know, say if it's like racist or misogynist. Like, think about it just for a second. There's a lot of things people can say, right? But if you have the wrong opinions, you know, even you just say you just did not have the correct opinion here, you know. I will remember it. Okay, of course I will remember it because I don't forget anything. But I also make note of it. Okay. I also make note of it. Right, like, I don't think it's one time I heard you say this. There's one time, and I don't like these paintings here. And maybe it's the Picasso that I don't like. But, no paintings. I'll go over here. But I'll make note of it. And then, you know, especially with someone I'm dating, right? Like, if I'm dating someone, you get like a 3-strike rule. You get a 3-strike rule. That kind of thing. Like, we're out on it in here of red flags, right? But we're out on a date, and then you just, you know, you say something. What's up with Gimbal and his doors, man? Gimbal, dude. Mr. Gnome, dude. What's wrong with you, man? Like a little gnome. His gnome house is not adequate. But think about it just for a second. You know, like a 3-strike rule. Okay, we're on a date. I'm not. You get the wrong opinion. You have like sort of materialistic observation. Something. Just anything that, you know, you hear them say, or even like profanity. I don't know. You have to give people a little bit of leeway with that kind of thing, but what I'm talking about is actually just the mentality of it. Because if you just, if you say something, you don't think about it, red flags, I'm gonna remember what you say, and then you hurt my feelings once. You hurt my feelings once, okay? And that's okay. You know, that's fine, but I'm gonna remember it. And then you hurt my feelings again. Okay, well now you're not even, now you're not even thinking about me at all. So, and that's kind of a part of a relationship in and of itself. So you should think about the way that the other person feels. Not all the time. Like, don't be so obsessed with another person that you just can't get over it. But you should think about the way that the other person feels. Don't be horribly upset, right? Create a barrier for 30 seconds. I kind of like that. Don't be one of those people, man. Because you should be more observant. Maybe Gimbal will appreciate the king statue. King Gimbal, the gnome, the king of gnomes. The king of gnomes. Knows his gnome bounds. The king of gnomes. But you get what I'm saying, right? Is that another, the person that you're seeing or dating or this, that, and the other, you should be more observant of your partner's feelings, right? But in that preemptive stage, there is the 3-strike rule. Where you don't care as much, you know, oh, is that a gnome outside? What's going on here? Where did this come from? It's fucking dropped from the side? Sky? The side? It's fucking dropped from the sky. And that, you know what? And that 3-strike rule carries, but even with people. Even with people. You know, even with your friend. Please don't say anything or do anything that's just so out of pocket I can't account for it. And then they test their boundaries with you. It's like, oh, now I have to get rid of you. Like, you can't be my friend anymore. You can't be my friend anymore. Man, I was hoping that you were normal. Oh, wings? What? What? I didn't even know I had those. I didn't even know that I had those. Alright. But I was hoping you were normal, man. Like, this is a good rune to have. Now, where? How do I put it in the rune slot? Okay, yes. But I was hoping you were normal. You're not normal. Something's wrong with you. You fail the 3-strike rule. Say something racist. You said something out of pocket. And now, I cannot be your friend anymore. You understand? You understand, right? I like the bird statue. Here, I like the bird statue. Where you get it? And, you know, that also transfers to if you're seeing someone. If you're seeing someone and they're just like, yeah, I don't want this anymore. Here are the things that you did wrong. Here are all of your flaws. I'm sorry that I wasn't good enough. And then it's over. And that's it. Even then, that's not something that they have to do, you know? That's not something that a person has to do, is tell you what went wrong, right? They don't have to tell you what was wrong with the relationship. They don't have to tell you anything, actually. They just kind of are the way that they are. Trying to put these bird statues in the house, but not working. It's glitching for some reason. One second. There's that thunderstorm outside. What's up with the slime? Okay. Here we go. But with that being said, you can make the adjustment in life off of that basis, trying everything to account for that kind of thing. It's a give and take with certain people. But that the resource portion of it and everything just kind of had me thinking it for a bit. Wasn't a good thing. Got me kind of sad. It had me kind of sad for a minute, thinking about it. but isn't always a bad thing. Self-improvement in mind. Why can't you put the statue on the... You can't put the statue on things. Kinda sucks. But I don't know. Being able to talk about it, I guess, is good. But when you're a guy in late 20s, I would say 27 is late 20s now. There really isn't, you know, I didn't make a lot of friends, right? I'm gonna go fight the corruption boss. But I didn't make a lot of friends when I was younger. And that is, it's actually reflected in later in life. So like the best advice I can offer someone is to make friends early and then, you know, improve those relationships over time, because it's one of the most difficult things. Oh, this is so cool. Wait, which one does more damage? This one's 69, the other one's 31. But this one summons a ghost. Does it have a thing? Oh, it does. That is so cool. Get this thing out of my way. Dude, select? Hold on. Whatever, that's kind of cool. But there isn't... It's difficult to make like a long-time friend you can trust. Especially being late 20s as a dude. So I don't ever really try to. I do like that this one is the Mona Lisa. That's kind of cool. The painting, I think there's a painting mod for it where it's a bunch of famous paintings and they put it into Terraria. And that's where that came from. Unless it's in the base game, but I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I think I have that one. There's also the plushies thing, where it's if you kill a boss, you get like a little plushie, and you can display it. And I like the way this one looks. It's like blue. But this fucking book here, how do you get the book out of the way, dude? Oh, never mind, it's gone. It's on screen as the skill selection. Never mind, it's gone. This is kind of cool. Should put it. Right. But yeah, I mean, I don't intend on making a lot of friends. And that's just it's a basic fact of life. Right about now. So I don't really like to be around people. I'm an introvert. And introverted traits are that way. So I like to maintain my boundaries. In a lot of ways, actually. Because people will take advantage of that kind of thing. If you give an inch, people take a mile. And it's reflected in decision making. So I oftentimes don't even give people the benefit of the doubt. But I do have another story about that. I do have another story about that. So, and a lot of things have happened to me while I've been working, but this is an interesting one for sure. Um, it was during the time period I was working at this factory, right? I was working at this factory. Okay. It was a contract, like when you work at a staffing agency, and these things are helpful for society, so I'll just explain it. When you work at a staffing agency, they they give you a job. It's like they staff you somewhere. That's why it's called a staffing agency, right? But they staff you somewhere, and you basically have a number of things that you can do, and they give you like a business and a factory to go to, but it's on like a 6-month contract basis. So after 6 months, the company can decide to hire you or not hire you, and then in which they just give you another job afterwards. And I think those things are very helpful to society because it also integrates work into job security. And essentially that's what needs to happen for everything. Because I mean even employers nowadays actually directly have a problem with hiring procedures, with resumes, career acquisition, job security. It's part of the reason why the world is kind of messed up in systems programs. But I was working for the staffing agency and it was a 6-month period, so I started in, I'd say like May, and it went all the way to Christmas time because they didn't they didn't decide to hire me. But my contract had come up, but it was this tinsel factory. It was high resolution photo printing and decorations, you know, but it made tinsel for houses and wallpaper. And in the back room, there was this photo printing equipment where they printed photos and other metal plates. Stealth strikes projectile spawns a jewel spike or hit when destroyed. It's kind of cool. But anyways, they basically made decorations for homes, wallpapers, a whole bunch of stuff, right? So when I was working there, I had, I had to ride my bike like miles to work there, but it was a decent job. It was like 23, 24 an hour. What is this thing? Sorry, I want it. I get distracted. But it was a decent job, right? My bad, I was fascinated. Um, but it was a decent job, and like, I thought it was cool because not only was it, say, from the decorations and everything that I was making for homes and wallpapers and stuff, it was actually photo printing, and that kind of experience was good, especially just because I have an interest in art. So the programs and computer and everything hooked up to the photo printing equipment. Had like settings and stuff on it. It was just using Photoshop, and it was really cool because people would like have their family photos and printouts and things like that they would request and then print, and then you would prepare them, package them. And it was a decent job. It was cool. But this one day, right, I worked with this Spanish guy, and he was like an older guy. He was like a Spanish guy in his 50s, and he did not speak English whatsoever. And I would work with him, and they had this giant wheel, right? It was this giant wheel that you would wrap tinsel around for hours on end. I would sit spinning this tinsel wheel, and it was kind of like a giant like ball of yarn for a cat. But I worked with this Spanish guy, and this one day he was teaching me something, and we didn't understand each other, and this communication got so far that he looked at me and just told me to stop talking. So the entire day after that, I was completely silent, and then I went into work afterwards and was completely silent because it was like the night shift. It was a night shift in the factory, and it was completely empty. But I would spin this yarn ball for hours on end. It was tinsel manufacturing, other than photo printing. So it was like kind of two things at once. So like learning to multitask, like in an industrial environment, running back and forth over the tinsel, the wallpaper, and the photo printing was something to manage. And I was the manager there was this old foreign guy. He was from Africa. He was a good guy too. But he was from Africa and he didn't speak English. So there was two different languages being spoke. And I wasn't I'm around 80% fluent, 90% fluent in Spanish now. But I wasn't fluent in Spanish at that time because I've been working on it. And the communication, the communication difference is so huge. And I've always been in environments like that, where I don't have anybody to talk to. I never really talk to anybody. And it all just kind of ends up just mentally just being sustained as introverted personality traits. And then, I'll be met with a situation where someone you meet doesn't have very good communication skills, and I don't think that they expect, me to be that kind of person either, to where I'm able to kind of talk and, resolute thinking aside, presentation even with this kind of thing. But I think that's relative to the time period as well. Some people have to sit down and actually write something, right? I'm the type of person, I don't need a PowerPoint with my presentation. I don't need a PowerPoint. I can remember it all. I know how to present it. And I've always been that way. Some people need a PowerPoint. They write things down and whatnot. And that's okay too. Especially if it's like thorough. But when I sit down and make something like this, it's kind of just introverted qualities converted into a social sense. What is this thing? What? It's decorative. It's a throne? Okay. Oh. Do you like that I said it's decorative? You gotta find it. This thing, decrepit. Decrepit decoration. I'm gonna fight the corruption boss here. This thing that I found is kind of cool. But it's relative to the time period. It's also a portion of thinking for me because I never really get to interact ever with anybody in my age group or peer group or anything. And then relative to that, you just start comparing your life to, or comparing my life actually, to things that are, you know, might not always be socially defining in that way. It isn't who you are or what you have, it's what you do with your time. And it's kind of a difficult observation, especially to take in the current world, because people think money, and I said this earlier, but people think money and social position defines human character. It defines how good you are at life. Well, really, that isn't true either, right? That isn't true either. Some people have everything provided for them. Some people have never had to work a day in their life and still act as if, you know, they aren't privileged. Some people sit on their ass in their computer chair, even if you're in your computer chair now. And they get paid a lot more money than someone working very hard in a field or manual labor job. And arguably less deserving, you know. So there is a lot of applause in that mentality. But I've never really had a lot. And with that being said, I'm from lower median income. I have to provide for my family too. Like that's part of the reason why I was never able to build a savings, is that I would pay bills at my house too. Just because it feels good to do that, you know, knowing that at a certain point in time, like my family would struggle with that kind of thing. There wouldn't be food in the kitchen. There wouldn't be food in the fridge. Even with four different kids that lived in the house, and I'm the oldest, and two-parent structure. They worked all the time, so feels good to do that, and it isn't always socially defining just to define yourself by monetary acquisition, because you can be a good person without that, and it's really not everything. I've seen a lot of stupid people be paid a lot of money to do much less work than someone more deserving. And even in that way, right? Even in that way, there is no justification. It's just the nature of the way that things can be sometimes. But back to the tinsel factory. And I call it's a photo printing studio, but I call it the Tinsel Factory because it was around Christmas time. It was around Thanksgiving and Christmas time, and it was like I was making like I was like it was like I was Santa Claus. I got to be Santa Claus. And actually, I am kind of like back to the point about my family. I am kind of Santa Claus to my family too. I'll always I buy a gift. But you know what's funny about that is I have to get my parents something. I never get my parents gifts. And that's one thing that I regret. Because they work so hard sometimes. And now just seeing how harsh the world is. As the homeless man that I am. At least currently. Seeing how harsh it actually is and just kind of sitting back like, wow, you actually are the coolest people ever. Because they were just trying to get by. Too at the time. You can't blame them for anything. And that's what people kind of are. Just people trying to get by and live life in the same way. Now, if your parent is like mine aren't. Like I was beat, and here's the thing. I'll give you a precursor to this. I'm a very gentle parenting style. I don't believe in ever raising a hand towards my younger siblings or even a child that I may or may not have. I don't have that kid currently, but you know that's how I am. But it's also because I went to school for education and psychology, so I just know those things are. That's how I feel about it. All right. But I was beaten as a kid. Like my ass was bad. I was a badass little kid. Sometimes it wasn't like I would go and do crime or anything, but I'd vandalize stuff. Not like vandalism like spray paint or anything, but I do murals now, so that's kind of funny. But the best part was like Halloween because we never really had costumes. You really have to pay some money for a costume, and my parents were like, "I'm not buying you a fucking Halloween costume. You can go as what you were before last year." So, like, we didn't do anything on Halloween, and then we would go to the rich neighborhood because it was kind of defined by area code. But we would go to the rich neighborhood, and we would TP the houses. We would drive, like, have someone drive us, and here's our excuse for like, we're going to the rich neighborhood so we can get all the big candy bars. We were not going there for that. We went straight to the rich neighborhood, bought them a bunch of toilet paper, and TP'd the houses. Then went trick-or-treating afterwards. like Like we needed to get the TPing done, you know. Needed to get that done. But it had to be dark out. But in Minnesota, it gets dark around like 6 o'clock, especially in October, after daylight savings time. But that's what we would do. And it was because we were fed up with being poor. It was like, even as we were younger, you know, and it's weird that it's like that, because there's poverty lines and the way that things are set up, but that's what it was. That's what it was. And then you go into the gated community. The gated community and all of the houses are really big. And plastic homes and plastic houses. But I mean, that's most likely not the thing to say, but that's what I think of, right? Like, okay, you know, the grass is not always greener, but why do you get a pool? Why does the racist dude who I know is racist because to just walk around being racist at school, right? And you know where these people live too, because they used to have parties. They used to invite me to a party. And here's the thing, when I was younger, things were weird for me, and it's even weird for me now because I have a lot of, I don't know, like attention on me sometimes. But that thing is cool looking. What's up with the snake? But they used to invite me to parties, right? And it was mainly just because I'm a really, I don't know, I seem like a cool person. Like, oh, it's not like I want to be friends with this guy, it's just like, okay, well, maybe this guy will be super cool or whatever. And there was always like a lot of alcohol. And like people just getting drunk for no reason because they didn't really care. It was like their college was already paid for. And everything. So they didn't give a fuck. Even in high school. Which is weird, right? Because I had to strive to work and achieve to like get financial aid and scholarships and things like that. But you knew based off of like the cars that they drove, you know, and it's not a you know, me versus them kind of thing. It's just that noticing it when I was younger kind of set that observation apart too. That's part of the reason we TP'd the house. You know what I mean? But they would invite me to parties, and there would be a lot of alcohol and other things, and I don't really even like drinking. A lot of like marijuana is legal now, rightfully so, but a lot of that too. People they really didn't care because they were really young, and it's like, oh, we're all having fun. Here I am stressing about bills and shit. I have a full-time job. I have a I had a full-time job in high school, and I transferred out into college because I couldn't afford it. But that's even in that observation, you can see where people come from too, even in uh, their relative feelings we're looking at and how they treat people, like the perception of privilege and choice, you know? Because for a person who values like respect and who hasn't had a lot and is really, you know, forefront forefrontal, you know, in that observation. For someone who values those kind of things, especially because I'm like a Spanish dude, too. Like, Spanish household is... Spanish and Native American household is, like, kind of strict. It was strict, but then I didn't have the same, like, feelings about life at the time. It's a, I don't know, control for some people is too much. Some people don't have good habits with control. They also don't have good habits with organization and stuff like that. It's like my pet peeve. It's my pet peeve when someone isn't organized, but they have a lot. They don't even value the things that they even spend money on. Oh, I don't care, I'll get another one. Really? Oh, I don't care, I'll get another one. Well, that's not what life's about. But that was the difference. So, I don't know. That's why we used to TP the houses. In the gated community. They didn't have cameras or anything. So, I guess that's fine. Now I'm much older. Like I said, I'm 27, so I prefer sangria over Sauvignon. Or white wine. I'm talking about wines now. I talk about wines now. Yeah, I'm much older. I'm distinguished gentleman. I'm a mother, father, gentleman. I'm sorry. The Gangnam Style there, man. What is up with that? Mother, father, gentleman. God damn it. So funny. Hey, but this Spelunker rune that I found is actually super useful. I wanted to... This turned into mining, I wanted to fight the corruption boss, but it turned into mining. But here's the thing about that. Like, my friends, right? they were also because it was kind of sectioned, and life is still kind of like this because you can make that observation of people who are able to travel, who have a lot of money, you know, even like those crypto dudes, the fucking the NFT community, um, people with hundreds of thousands of dollars that don't really value the same kinds of things as other people because they're so well off. Peter Peckerwood and his Bitcoin wallet. Put your Johnson away. Johnson. Put that Johnson away. Johnson. Have some self-respect and decency. You Peter Peckerwood. And your NFT Bitcoin wallet that you sit there and pad in your computer chair. You don't even fucking work. But what I'm saying about that, and I'm sorry, maybe that was mean. Maybe that was mean. But that computer science degree, you know, I got mine in psychology. So put your Peter Peckerwood away, Peter Griffin. Peter Peckerwood Griffin and his Bitcoin wallet. But that being said, my friends at the time, and just indifference when I was much younger, they were also from like a poorer standpoint because it's sort of sectioned in that way. They had some of the same traits as me, some of the same families, even multiculturalism, right? People from those kinds of things, the situations, were usually my friends, right? So they had some of the same value systems, and they're very smart too. And even to this day, they're very smart still, because you had to be that way. You had to be really smart. Have to be really smart. So some of my friends have, like, and what's weird about it is that they all pursued psych degrees or careers in therapy, same way that I did. I have 5 different friends with therapy and psych degrees who went to school specifically for that. And those are just my colleagues at this point in time. In life, even. I would see them as my colleagues. I do it like a favor. I would do maybe a favor, like if they wanted me to like move their furniture out of their apartment, I'd probably do it for free. But nothing, you know, too much, right? They're just my colleagues at that point. And I can ask them like for professional advice. But Not often do you see me asking anyone for anything, just because I know how cruel the world is. The world can be such a cruel and harsh place. I don't like asking for absolutely anything. Nothing. 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 I don't like asking for nothing. Nada mucho. No preguntas. No palabras. Damn it. No palabras. Esta noche. En fin. It's the end. I need to decorate. No, I want to go fight this corruption thing. Never mind. I'm gonna turn into mining. I turn into mining time. It's mining time. Oh my god. Don't ever have me out here like that. It's mining time. Oh my god. It's just absurd. I'm sorry. To be honest with you, the video game portion of this is just, you know, a subset of standard. Have something interesting in the background while I actually sit down and talk about things. But I really do like this game in a lot of ways. Anything with pixels that's 8-bit, if it looks like it's Galaga, if it's like Galaga, and I forgot to put the wings on. God damn it. Galaga. What other 8-bit games do I know? Asteroids. There's Galaga, there's Asteroids. There's Miss Pac-Man. There's Mr. Pac-Man. Why is it Miss Pac-Man and not Mr. Pac-Man? It's never labeled, it's just labeled Pac-Man. It's not Mr. Pac-Man. It's Miss Pac-Man. I hate that. And why do I actually feel that it might have been a better market choice to name him Mr. Pac-Man instead? And not just Pac-Man. You know, that's, well, it's in your Pac-Man to you. In videojuegos. Señor Pac-Man. I'm laughing. I'm laughing at that one. Señor Pac-Man. The wings. Put them on. Put on the wings. For Señor Pac-Man. Where's the wing slot? Is this the wing slot? Damn it. The outfit is so ugly, man. Whatever. Calling Senior Pac-Man. I'm gonna fight this corruption boss. I think that's just the vanity slot for it. This is the vanity slot for it. How do you actually put them on though? Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. I don't know. Right. I don't know. Lessons. No lessons in life about people. Privilege. That's the thing. That's what you're supposed to do. Is that what you're supposed to do? Yeah, I know you're supposed to like destroy those things. Does it work that way? Stuff comes out of it when you hit it. Maybe not. Maybe not.